Back to another Guy Thursday. If you've been following this week, we have been, obviously going through the thick of it as we came into our 1-to-1 fib time on the 7th. We had our midterm U.S. elections on the 8th. We have our CPI data today, along with a couple of other events in between, obviously with FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, Binance, CZ, a lot of things just kind of, adding into the chaotic, price action if you are not prepared for it, and outlining the areas that you would like to be getting involved. From here, right, we're going to take a look, just as we usually do. We're going to take a peek into Bitcoin, the SPX, so the S&P 500. We're going to take a look at Ethereum. Solana actually had a nice move up today, but we are going to talk about some other things with that as well from some of the exchanges. And a couple of other alts probably along the way, as well as some order flow and open interest, some maybe some trades that we were looking at earlier today in the members only market live stream, where we're doing some live trading in the leading crypto Discord server. So if you are interested in all of that, be sure to like and subscribe to the video. Stay through till the end. And then now for the most important question of the day, we've got Magic in possibly a diamond studded shirt over there. And Max.
No.
Max, the vape god of Dubai, the prince, sitting over there as well. How are you gentlemen doing this afternoon?
Very well. I'm doing good. Apparently I chose a poor shirt. It's got little palm trees on it. But it does when I look at the camera, it looks like rhinestones, you know.
They are very
you guys can just call me Neil Diamond for the day.
Yes.
I'll go ahead and get that done right now. Here we go. Neil Diamond. There, that's been changed.
Name change. Perfect.
Yeah, Saving Silverman, great movie for any of you youngsters that haven't seen it. So, yeah, we're gonna look at some price today, guys. Nothing's changed in terms of invalidations. Nothing's changed in terms of overall targets just yet. So, let's go over the high time frame and the low time frame. We'll probably start with the low time frame and jump into the SPX as well, just to get a general idea of what we're looking at. I think the low time frames bleed into the high time frames really, really well in this case. So we'll go ahead and take a look at those. So let me get my screen shared and we'll knock it out. Right. So in terms of your lows, okay, so there were 3 lows that I gave last night in the update. The prior local low at 16,800 here. Okay, so we don't have any levels necessarily to go off of horizontal wise, but we have really, really nice structural targets that make sense. Okay, so your local low here at 16.8, you've taken it. Now you want to see yourself reclaiming that. And then what are we doing? We're targeting the next structural low. Then we're targeting the previous month low right here. And then you're looking all the way back up to this monthly and daily level that would be coming in this region here. I believe this was the daily level, right? I recall. That just blew through these. Doesn't mean they won't be resistance on the way back up. We've talked about that before. We've mentioned this time and time again. And your local golden pocket from the high, right, to the low comes in here. Get back down to the low time frames now that our levels are all, you know, married up, and you can see how well this is getting priced after the dump. Rejection, breakthrough, go to the next level, consolidation beneath the level, and a move up. Now, if you were looking at this in terms of previous day data, as always, we did have a Dalton that was finally successful, as we normally only play it to the POC. Previous day point of control hit and tap, so filling in that inefficiency from the prior session after reclaim of 16.8 here, or the previous day val, whichever one you preferred. This was your cue to get long, looking for one, your weekly value area low, and now your previous day point of control. Now, I'm not necessarily interested in blindly shorting this just yet. I was telling Max, if it were me, unless the order flow is giving a trade, which I don't even have the order flow tab up on my screen, I don't think, because I try to get things done around the house before the stream, not do too much rash thinking in terms of trading. I think the previous day high in this local gold pocket from the 20.6K high right here, right, down to our local low, this is coming in at a very, very nice area. So if we go ahead and copy this, we'll put it on our high time frame chart here, and it might already be there. Nope, this is a different one, slightly different. That's more of your overall. When you're looking at this this is something that you want to see. Oh, we're in log. This is something that you want to see if it's tapped. You want to see that previous day high getting taken. But if we look back at, again, our ATAS range, where is our value area low for the range? It's right here, right at the gold pocket, right at the previous day high, right at these local highs right here. So if you zoom into like an hourly, right? Zoom out to an hourly, I guess, in this case, where would we be likely to set up a range? Probably up here in this region. So if you get a good entry here, it's definitely worth a day trade because you've obviously done something in this region. I imagine there might even be a single print there, but I didn't watch the price action to see what happened this morning, so I haven't looked. Max will go over that. But one thing to bear in mind, overall, unless we're living back above that monthly and daily level, because oftentimes when you retrace to a range, some people say, well, the val is the target. Yes and no. The most likely scenario on a really bullish retrace, and I say bullish retrace, but you know, we'll use air quotes for that, is going to be like the point of control of the range. And if you come in here and you look at all this price action, it goes all the way back, and I'm gonna get rid of the ATAS range. Our TPO point of control does come in at the 19,150 lows. But if you look at the volume, where is it coming in at? Right here at 19,150. So the box that we were giving previously, did I delete it? I did delete it. That was dumb. Is coming in this region, 19,150 up to 19,411. That is still the area that if you're looking at this on a medium time frame, right? Short and medium time frames, this is where they bleed into the high time frames if reclaimed, right? So, you know, keep your head on a swivel. These are just day trades. One thing I want to point out, and I was pointing this out to people in the group last night, but I'll point it out here on stream as well. It's not something that's really actionable, but it is important. We did talk about this yesterday. So remember back in 2020, when we dumped down after this massive 100+ day consolidation, right? You have your head and shoulders, whatever you want to call it. You did dolly around here for a couple days before the eventual move down. And if you come over here to this as well, this is very, very common, right? You've come down, big move, made another low. Now you're coming back up. What do you do right here? We just talked about this. It's setting in like a range high. People will get bullish again. There's nothing to be bullish about at this level. And you didn't quite take the high, but you came close. And all you've done is back tested that local range high, the val again, and then made the final move down. Very, very similar to what you'd be looking at over here, right? You'd just be looking at this and going, okay, where's my local range high? This one did it on the second day, but really failed after that. It was a big sign of weakness. This is a very weak move, but you know, just keep your heads on straight, right? So in terms of the high time frames, what do we need to see then to get maybe start changing our mind a little bit and saying maybe this was a bottom, just like we had a double top, right? So we had a double top at the highs. Maybe we get a double bottom, which is traditional for Bitcoin to get that double bottom as a low. This is a hypothetical, guys. These are only what ifs in the sense that what we should be looking for a macro reversal. Double top, you've taken the high, right? Go down to the monthly candles or up to the monthly candles. Now you can see how clean it's looking, right? You can see you've closed back below 58,822, which is a big, big level for me. 62K was as well, which is this local high right here, right? This is where you did actually swing fail the high. Okay, so $62,000, big, big level. If we ever return to 62K, guys, that is a level that I'll have on my chart and I will be willing to trade probably. But just like to the downside, so we say, you know, hey, let's make sure that we are not getting too far ahead of ourselves here. This is how you would do so. Let's get rid of all this stuff right here, including the range. And let's just say, and this guy can go. Where is our monthly level of closing and validation? So what do we need to see on a monthly basis is we need to see this reclaim 17,567 or reclaim of 19,411 actually gets me kind of bullish to get back up here to like 20,600 potentially. That is, you know, that's really hard to foresee right now. But even in that scenario, you know, you still want to see some structure being put in here. One thing I did bring up as well is you have to, you know, be neutral on this price because anything can happen. So we went over the scenarios where we said, you know, it dilly-dallied around right here before dumping, which it did. Same with right here before major capitulation. However, there are instances where you've had the opposite happen, where you had a huge descending triangle, which is what we just had, massive move down, continued sideways range. So if this starts putting in a longer range, I would then start to say we're closer to the bottom than not, obviously. 31 bars, so like a 30-day range. But again, what is it doing here on the monthly time frame, right? You can see that this is going to be your breakdown point right here, and this is your low. Go back to the daily. I know this is a lot jumping around, so hopefully you guys are keeping up okay. What did you do? Monthly low, resistance, resistance, boom. After being support, support, deviation of the low, massive move up. This was actually just a quarter POC. Let's see where this one ends at. Yep, that does end in September. So we are looking for July 1st. All the way to September 31st or September 30th. I guess I don't know how many days are in my months. What did you do? You backfilled an inefficiency. So it'll be important that if we start seeing this scenario arise, that we are prepared for it. However, it's only something worth noting right now, not something that you're trading for, right? What would change our mind on trading an event like that would necessarily on the short and medium time frames be 19.4, and then you're looking for that extra, $1,000 up, and then we get to play the game of, are we looking to short this again? That's been the trend. So the trend does come to an end eventually, but the trend is your friend until the end, as they say. So nothing bullish has happened. Play the local levels here. You've fulfilled the statistical target of our move. Now you need to see this living inside the weekly range, and we can look for the rotation up to this like previous day high potentially. And that's where you want to be shorting. You don't want to be shorting down here, I guess is the point I'm trying to make, is identify your local pivot areas in terms of market structure, in terms of range rotations, and then take the best trade when it's available. It requires you to be patient and not be emotional, like getting into shorts on this move down here. Especially if you were like anyone that was shorting the last leg of it. I'm sure there were people. Max was going over some potential trap shorts earlier. So there are people out there that, are fueling this move. The question is, how much fuel are they going to provide? SPX, nice big jump up today. Bullish news on the CPI. So the DXY did take a shit this morning. So there you go. What did we talk about in this? That when we said that we were looking at it like this, we weren't necessarily looking for this to come all the way back up into it. We needed to get back inside this channel. And what did you do? You back tested it yet again for a second time, got a rejection off the EQ of your other channel as well. And now you are making new market structure. So the DXY looking like it's trying to top out here. And next target for me is going to be this 108 area, which we're coming into now. But then after that, I'm looking down to 105. So 108 is going to be a big area for the DXY to hang on to. But 105 is technically the next target. And if we were to zoom out once more to the overall time frame here, right, this is what we've been looking at. And we were looking at in log scale. We'll get rid of this guy as well. And I think it is, yeah, it's this one. You've got a nice bat here. You've got a rejection off of the weekly and the 618. You've now taken the weekly lows, right? We got to the weekly. You can see how you SFP'd this low, held it as support, back tested old resistance, down you go. Trading the DXY off market structure alone is the best way to go. So that's just my opinion. You've got a really nice channel here, which would say that the EQ is going to be your target, which could bring you down to 105, maybe even a little bit lower. So the technical target of this pattern, which I don't think is going to hit, at least anytime soon, I should say, and that's what I mean is anytime soon, is the B leg, which is all the way down here at like $91 again. But that's going to take potentially years, just like it took years to do this. And that's only if this is a top, right? So just keep that in mind. I don't really have anything else other than, I'll go over QNT and Matic a little bit later. We talked about them yesterday coming into areas of interest, hit to the dollar. So if there are questions, all you have to do is spam the chat with them, man, and we're good to go. But I'll turn it over to Maxwell and let him talk about it.
Tag Neil Diamond, of course.
Big screen, always do me dirty.
What?
Dirty.
So first thing I want to go over is watching on in the group this morning. First thing, pretty much as soon as we're waking up, everyone was talking about the Dalton that was on. But the open interest, and I'll go over it and show you all this in a minute. It wasn't following the trend. There was no buys coming into the market. And the fact that you had just above where the previous day value area low was, you had the key low that was made the other day. on Tuesday. So you had that low as resistance just above where the previous day value area low was. So if we go and have a look on XO, here's the val, and everyone was thinking, oh, we've got the candle closures. Theoretically it is on, which it did play out eventually. But the first trade of the day, it really had to be the short from the 16,800 region. The fact that open interest was going down shows you that it wasn't buyers pushing up the price. It was actually shorts closing out. So really simple trade, really, because you have with these 80-20s, they are pretty much always, because they're very well known in the market now. Like a lot of people are trading them. It's like one of the easiest theoretical trades that you can get. So the fact that everyone knows them, the market makers know this, and trading against you. So when everyone's opening trades in here, which again, there was not many, has to be said, but you had a few. You could argue you probably had the retail taking the trade here. You've got 1.6 there, 500k there, and 800k there, just above the previous day val. That's not huge numbers really to warrant a claim of a level. So the fact that you got the push up on, yes, the volume gradient was pretty high, but to the moves that we've been having, it was really low. And the fact that open interest was decreasing the way it was kind of signaled that it was going to be a good short. And in the move away, you got your selling imbalances. You don't really need too much else to take that trade. That was a beautiful little trade. Was very pleased with that one. And then you got a swing fairly pan of it later today. Gutted that I was actually busy and didn't take this one. You had got your liquidations at the top. Yes, you had some volume come in, but you could argue some stagnating open interest there. You got your liquidations at the top of people that were shorting. Always fun to spot. This is a really interesting thing when you spot these liquidations. Trading against them is normally a very good option. And then you had your swing failure pan. You got selling imbalances. It was if anyone was there watching it, it was a solid trade. And then we came down to where it was really volatile down here. To be fair, it was quite fun to trade this. You just front ran the golden pocket, which was annoying because at the time the golden pocket was just at 16k, so it's just a touch below. Really, I was waiting for that for a larger trade, but it was certainly scalpable. These wicks above and wicks below the VWAP that you were getting. But at the lows, and I did mention it in the group, as Magic said, the fact we were getting a lot of shorts enter here. You had huge increases on open interest here with negative delta. It shows that there's shorts entering the market. And you had it, right at the lows. And they were trapped and they weren't given any room to get out of their trades. Then the CPI data came out and you got the huge pump. Open interest was interesting on it because it's not that large, nor is the delta. The volume is okay, but the open interest and the delta don't really match up. Considering you've got to think how many people will have been getting liquidated or stopped out from their shorts as the price pumped up the way that it did. Yes, that would have dragged the open interest down a little bit, but that open interest doesn't signal that there was a huge amount of buyers there, which is very interesting, has to be said. And then right now, you've got longs trapped at the top again. You've got longs trapped at the top. So if we do make it back into what I'm going to go into over here, I actually don't have it on the screen, but in the 10-minute strategy that we go on in the group, if you do start living below that channel that it gave us earlier that we went over in the live trading, start living below there. The fact that we've come up, tapped the target for the Dalton now, we've tapped the target, rejected from there. Really the statistic has played out. It's much less likely that we go and tap the previous value area high, but it is still there. So, but yeah, there's certainly trapped longs now. If we start to live below these wicks, which we are, or we're just coming beneath them now, start to live below here, it's looking likely that you at least go and test the bottom of these. And as we did go over in the live trading session, what is at the bottom of these wicks? Well, we have a absolutely wham single print. So this will be, it really has to be defended because, we came up really fast. We can go down even faster. So really them lows, them wicks, they do have to be defended. That single print is from 16,912, which is the low, to 17,262. If you start living in this region, especially with the selling tail above us and the trapped longs that we have, it's very likely that you quickly go and close it. And then with closing that and living back in this little range that we had earlier today, well, you'll notice here we don't have a buying tail, which is a sign of a weak low. The fact that you came up and pretty much came back to the low exactly, there's going to be lots of liquidity here. There's no buying tail, which isn't a very good thing. You want to see a buying tail on a low so that you can, it's a sign of strength when you have a buying tail on a low. Yes, we have one here, but it was actually just in the move up from the morning. If I expand these things here, that one's already expanded. Let me expand this one. You can see it was actually just in the move up from the morning. So it's a difficult one. But if you're looking at the actual low, there is no buying tail. Yes, there is a buying tail on today's session, but it's it's the low that matters. And an interesting thing as well, which is bullish, we went over in the stream, is if you go to the 1 tick, the volume point of control actually is up here. Sorry, I've got something in my throat. The volume point of control actually is up here. So if you're going from the TPO theory, this is a bullish session because all the volume is coming in at the top, whereas we've spent much more time at the low. So that is a bullish thing to be aware of. But again, you lose on single prints. There's much time that can bring the volume back down here and possibly take it to that low. So is there anything else that I need to discuss? Trapped longs. No, that's me done. CVO, you there?
Yes, sir. I think Max, your background might be on. I don't know. Either way, it's a little static coming through. I guess when I start talking, maybe it's me. All right, let's see here. Switch it up. All right, so somebody in here, Lewis. Thoughts on where Solana is gonna go? Recovery or zero? And yeah, I think that's really the only two options at this point. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so one thing.
Classic is how I look at it.
What's that?
It just became Ethereum Classic is how I look at it. Someone will take over the chain and it'll just become a meme coin for the rest of time, and everyone will know it because it was Solana.
Dang,
that's right.
Solana Classic. All right, that's Neil Diamond said it first. You heard it here. So obviously we had this, overall range we were looking at for quite some time, losing the range. There's, you want to have your stop loss in place, set your alerts. And then the two areas we were looking at coming into the lower here was this daily, which yesterday we were touching on, which I, kind of alluded to. This would just be a speed bump, nothing more than a small bounce area. And that the major area that I was concerned with in the short term here was going to be this untapped quarterly key level. So you can see how this reacted on a 4-hour time frame. Obviously we whipped through it a couple times, but it held it pretty well as support, getting a little bounce from here now. This did offer up, without even going to the wicks, 20 to 30%. And then you got overall like a 50% bounce out of this. Obviously we, fell substantially. So it's not like you're, back in the huge green if you were holding from higher. However, that's the game that we play, right? We look for that next major level. You protect your capital in the short term if you're looking for some short-term moves. And this would have been the area to be concerned with or considering, right, for putting on some risk. And this is without even any leverage, right? That's one thing I always talk about with a lot of the altcoins is, even from where we are right now, this is a 24% move. No leverage needed there. So as far as upside would go, honestly, there's not much around where we are right now, right? So zooming out a little bit here. You got all this little cluster right here, but realistically, these are, there's really not a lot in this region. I would really say that you would want to see 2685 reclaimed. Lunk. 2685 reclaimed as far as any more upside would go from continuation at that level. So in the short term, maybe we get a continued rally, a little relief rally out of the markets regardless. This has got a really nice opportunity from where we are, possibly another 50% up to this value area low, which is basically just coming up and smacking the range low, right? This is a major resistance at the moment. We could start pulling a little local golden pocket and see where that comes into play. So just above that region. And then aside from that, say we come up, we get knock our head right here, or in general, you start coming down and start losing this quarterly. To me, this is really the last line of defense, right? You come down and you lose this level. This is, implying that, things go to 9K and 10K Bitcoin and then the markets are melting, right? Or whatever, or just, saying SBF comes out and says something crazy and everybody just liquidates, right? Either way, a technical move will be had here if you come down and you lose this, back test that quarterly level of 1393. Realistically, it's one of those times where, this is it's not a new asset by any means in the sense of like over the last couple months, but I would really just be looking at the overall global range here, just similar to what we did with FTT. And the next major area does come all the way back down. We're back living within the global range here, which we've been for quite some time. You got the back test of the high. We're moving lower. You got this one little cluster of volume, showing up here. And really, if you lose that level, I'd be looking, stink bid time, right? This is like $2 Solana. Not saying it's got to go there by any means, but just saying if we have a huge meltdown continuation, that's where we'd be looking for. But aside from that, we did hit a major support, right? Got a really nice reaction out of it at the moment. And until really this little scenario plays out, if it does, that's not really something I'd be concerned with at the moment. Short term, I think we're going to continue upward. You got the quarterly VWAP comes in right here at the overall val as well that we were paying attention for. So in the short run, I think we got a chance to run it back to $26, $28 here for Solana. And then, of course, that starts to get invalidated once we start losing this daily once again. And definitely, keep your eyes on 1393. Yeah, pretty simple on that one, in my opinion. Ethereum. All right, so overall area, still in the daily, just a nice little clean look at this. But, we lost our quarter two point of control at 1221 that, I've been on about for quite some time here. And, you all should know at this point that the next major level that I've been looking for at least is going to be this untapped daily at, depending on what exchange you're at, there's about a $10 discrepancy, but about $1,030 to $1,040. Last night, we front ran that by $30. And about 4%, right? So at the moment, I still anticipate this to, come down and get met. So I'm just, I'm not going to say, for sure that was, where we're going to bottom it out. And we're just going to run it back. But this is still a really big key level for me if we make it down to there. So, things to pay attention for really have been get back above this quarter two point of control. Obviously, that is one, sign of getting back up to the upside here. The main level for me for ETH to really kind of showcase that we're probably going to continue upward is going to be the reclaim of this quarterly key level. It's also the EQ of the range. And then at this point as well, I believe this is going to be your local golden pocket. And I say local, but I mean from pretty much the high of 1660 all the way. If this is our current low, you can see how the quarterly lines up with the golden pocket here as well. So for this, say we come back down, get the claim here, get a little rejection, you'd really want to see this level taken, on a 4-hour daily closing basis again, up at about 1453. And then, of course, we still have our recent high here, that 1641 that's been keeping us down for a bit. This is that previous range high from last year, amongst other things here. So, yeah, that's what I'd be looking for out of ETH. On a short run base last night, we were looking for a couple of trades, right? I was going to cover this with Max today, but got hung up this morning. What we got here? Bybit. Right, so taking a little zoom in here. All right, so last night we were looking for, some moves, right? We did come into the developing week low here, right? So we did front run that, untapped daily just a bit, like I said, and then essentially you got the new daily open, you got the VWAP claim, and essentially from there we were looking for the, new daily pivot. I mean, you just did everything right here. So for this move upward, I mean, it was pretty much written in the star here. As soon as you claim that 1169, especially. So at the moment, I'm anticipating running it up towards about this golden pocket, 1387 up to 1403. This is on the smaller time frame here, and then we'll see how things react at that level. But aside from that, yeah, I mean, that was a nice little move there, right? So even if you missed this, portion, it was the daily pivot that really got it. That would have been about a 14% move so far. TPs along the way. Obviously, you'd be looking to take another one up here at the golden pocket, possibly look for a short, depending on how things kind of play out up there if we get there. And let's just take a little peek at FTT and see what it's up to today. Just since we've been on it a little bit this week. Oh, Doge too. Just for fun, because we were messing around with that one so much last week. FTT, right? Only levels you needed here. One guy in the group actually, he's taken the crown because let me find that real quick, because he crushed it. We were looking at this live the other day, and essentially, right, you were looking at FTT, and this was even before we broke out of this. We were sitting in this overall, larger range here from basically 2021. Got the breakdown, looking for the back test right here, and then essentially had no support until the untapped yearly down here about $4.48. This was about a 70-80% move. If had, obviously we did. And then, you got your overall target once you enter the range is going to be, as Magic said, your point of control, right? So, Rocky in the group, man, just got to give a shout out because absolutely crushed. I mean, even if this was $100 trade, you got to imagine that this was something. Get that out there. Even if this was $100 trade, I mean, you're talking like just incredible. So shout out to you in the group. And at this point, really taking a look and see how this kind of plays out at this level. We're really living within this range back again. This is the overall global range. So very well similar to what I just put up for Solana there. So you got that point of control at 240, get the overall, value area high coming in at the yearly key level as well at 448. So yeah, I mean, really, as far as any upside, you'd really want to claim this 448, and then from there, it could be very well another quick move out. Maybe not all the way back up to like $22, but definitely, a quick move up in general. Here, you got the quarterly VWAP coming down about $12. We saw a lot of crazy bounces back when like Luna. Not to say go gambling with this by any means, but it could be something that does play out a little bit as far as some short-term moves. And yeah, I think that's about all I got.
Beauty. Let's go over a couple altcoins that we covered up into this week. Actually, you guys have had these setups for enough time to be actionable. They're both on my Twitter and they were on the YouTube channel. We talked about these. So Q&T. What did I tell you guys yesterday? What's the most important thing is that I have an alert here that I'm not interested in this speed bump. A lot of people were going to be trying to buy the back test of a head and shoulders pattern right here, right? They were like, this is the back test of it. I'm going to be buying. Not necessarily. You wanted to wait for the Q3 NPOC. You have an untapped weekly here, Q4 pivot, gold pocket. This is where you wanted to get long. And if you did so, you're already at resistance. So in terms of, if you're investing, it's different. But if you're just trading this, you're up 22% at the high there anyway. Don't be a dummy, take some profits, because if this fails, you have the potential to drop down to these lower levels again, right? And with no clear bottom in place, you're not going to miss anything. Like, let's say you take some profits here. Price does put in a bottom. It's not going to all-time highs tomorrow, guys. You're going to be able to get back in. A clear direction will save you guys so much pain and time if you just wait for a directional change. And in terms of the direction on this asset, it is down. I know a lot of people are like, Q&T is super bullish, but this is not bullish just because you retraced up to statistical targets that we had outlined. It met those targets, and you are now working off of what you had, right? This is your target. You could have worked this out as a pitchfork as well. I went over this. What are you doing? You guys know how much I love my forks. We're going to look at those anyway here in a minute. 50% mark. So we have another level of confluence why I wanted to take this trade. I did not bid this. This is not a trade I took. I'm not buying any alts. Same with Matic. But if you had listened, you could have made money. And one thing I want to point out is just because the trade is there doesn't mean you have to take it. I'm sticking to Bitcoin trades. I'm really not trading too much in the last 2 days. I've been riding that short from 40K. And I've got some other shorts that are open. They're on different assets, but this is something that I'm not interested in closing those just yet because they're from higher up. So in terms of the Matic chart, again, looking at this into the 382, into our 1-to-1 area, timing on it was good, fast move up. What are we expecting? A lot of people were looking at this as support potentially here at $1. And I said, realistically, I'm not looking for $1. I'm looking all the way down to 79.83 cents to 77.81 cents. You've now gotten that move again, just like with QNT, guys. Do yourselves a favor, pay yourselves. You're up 50% on that move overall if you took the trade. Pay yourself. Make sure that you're taking some profits. This could come all the way up here and take the high for all we know, fill in this inefficiency, and then dump again. You know, things like that can happen. So make sure you're taking care of yourself, unless these are like, hey, I think this is a great buy for me in my DCA strategy. I'm gonna hold this coin for 10 years. I don't subscribe to that theory. That's on you. You know, if you've got a plan, you've written it down, and you're okay with the risk involved, by all means, do what you've got to do. Polkadot. I had this one up. Polkadot is one that I am interested in. I did take some profits on this one, believe it or not. I know I said I'd been accumulating it. I took profits here. I didn't even take profits at the Q4, guys. I took profits here. I got out because I was just not sure on the play anymore. And so I managed to lock in some profits, and I'm looking at this very, very simply. I've only got a few lines on this chart. We're going to update it here in just a second. Down to the monthly at 419 is realistically my target. You know, that's what I'm looking for. If you go out to the monthly, how did I derive the boxes? They were just prior levels of support, which I am going to go ahead and adjust real quick, just because I think it is far more relevant to have this one up, and that box now becomes much, much different, right here. And until we see 632 to 638, that 6-cent window here at the 2021 low reclaimed, I'm not interested in Polkadot. You get above this though, what do we know? Well, you're back inside this little range, and you're probably going to rotate up to 678. Not like a huge move by any means, but you know, big enough that if you were trading it, 6% is 6%. But you got to ask yourself, is the juice worth the squeeze at these current levels? But if you are interested in Polkadot, I think that this has been DCA territory anywhere down below here. If you wanted to look at that box, you could do something like this. You could just literally take fib extension, and you could say, all right, I'm interested in getting into Polkadot. This is my break of structure right here. Where am I going to be getting in at? OB. Let's go ahead and actually turn the background on this one for once. I normally don't. Oh, not that bright. And I would just be saying, okay, there's my 50% mark of my new range that I'm trying to establish, because we had a range low here. Now we're looking at this as the potential range low. Now we've got 50% here. So if I was DCAing, I would say, okay, I'm only interested in buying at 584, 529, 474, 419. I'm going to weight my entries according to the position sizes that I'm allocating. I do 22 allocations for most assets. So it does take me 10 or 15 minutes to work that up on an asset. But if you cannot take 10 or 15 minutes to work up your risk management strategy, I'm gonna be honest with you, man, it's going to be a rough ride for you. Whether it's a bull market or a bear market, you know, it's going to be a roller coaster. You're going to be all over the place. So make sure you're sitting down with yourself, taking into account how you want to look at trading this or investing in it. In this case, for me, this is a long-term position I'm looking to accumulate in this region. That's what I'm after. So Polkadot coming into those levels, I think 419 is the next area of interest. And the one reason I like that is because you can wick down to these lows. It's just not guaranteed. But if you lose these lows, I mean, fuck, dude, like this is probably coming all the way down here to this level right here. This would be your next level of interest if we lose those lows. This is it. If I can get my cursor to work here, we'll just do it this way. $2.83. Right? Not what anyone wants to hear. Chainlink, same thing. Okay, Link, another one you guys know that I've been vocal about it after we've got towards the end of the range. I'm not investing any more capital in the Chainlink. And it gave you an opportunity here at $9.30. Let's take a look. Yeah, you're getting a rejection off the previous day point of control as well here. So you're back below this. Gold pocket comes in at 16,800. That'd be the area I'm interested in if I was looking for the next trade on Bitcoin. But on Link, Stinky Linky, let's take a peek. I think Link USD is where I have it. Let me find that chart. Sorry about the mess here, guys. I probably should clean this up into like a watch list, but it works for me, so bear with me. What have we been talking about for a while now is $3.82. I put that tweet out on January 28th of this year. 382 is got potential. you go down to the daily time frame here, this is a Genesis pull and Fibonacci time that I pulled in 2020, caught the all-time high, caught major low, major low. This is kind of uneventful, a little bit on the uneventful side, but we're really looking all the way out until July of 23 for this 1-to-1 to finish out, and I'll redo the time cycle at that time. But if you're not above $9.30, you're not above the 2020 value area high. That was not just the 2020 value area high. I normally tell guys don't fall in love with prior range information like the value area highs and lows. In this case, it panned out well. But what I'm pointing out is we actually had merged range value area low at 930, if anyone remembers from when I pulled that. That is on my USDT chart, if I recall, because you don't have USD available on nope, 730. I must have readjusted this because I did have 930 on there at one point. It doesn't matter. 930 is that key level. There was extra confluence with it. Sorry, the charts are just, these charts are almost a year old, guys. This is the area that I'd be looking for, is about $3.82, unless we reclaim 930. If you reclaim 930, bets are off. This is going to get a nice run up. This is a nice structure in that case because you still have higher lows. However, you're not doing anything up here at the highs to make me think that. If you take a look at it from a range standpoint here, yeah, this is just a very, very tight range, big consolidation here, guys. So could look at this as a triple top potentially. Did this take all the highs right here? Did this take all the highs? If so, that's actually not good. Nope, did not. But it did take a couple highs there. So you did leave this one, which if it had taken that one, I would have been like, dude, this thing's probably cooked. That'd be pretty much a Q&T move up around like 300 and some change. But yeah, you've got a range here. You've bounced off of support that should have been able to identify just by using your volume profile. If you know the rest of the market is bouncing, you get in this where you're looking for a point of control, value area high potentially, and then you're not doing too much with it really. But if you're looking at this as an investing standpoint, yet again, what did we talk about? If we think that the low is coming in at 2020, the POC there, let's just use one of these. This will work. Where are we looking to? 25%, 50%, just like before. So we're at the 50% point of our channel. We still have 75 and 0 potentially, and it could even go lower than this. You've got a target down here as well, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, if we get to it. So for Link, if you were looking at this from an investing standpoint, entry 1, entry 2, entry 3, entry 4, make sure that you are doing your best to get the best average. And keeping it simple with a very simple plan and a bunch of patience is how you're going to do that. Otherwise, not much to really look at. Why is the mark price so screwed up on Bybit? I have no idea, man. I understand, especially with ETH. I would be curious any bottom targets below on H-bar. Yeah, Sol's really risky, man. We'll look at H-bar. CBO has done a really good job of covering this one, but I'll take a look at it just because we're here. Oh, this is the wrong chart. We'll go back to there. I was doing something with that. H-bar is in my shit coins folder, fondly so. One thing I will point out as well for you XRP fans, if you guys watch Debate Crypto, what did I say? I'm not interested in buying more XRP. I am interested in trading it potentially if it comes back down to the support box because it is support until it's not. You actually fail the low here and up you go, right? So if you were trading this is a great trading opportunity. And I have some spot positions actually that I'm using to trade this with, but otherwise not much. And those were just predetermined plans that I was just going to ladder into this, take whatever I can get out of it, and then move on with my day because the next target after this is like 19 cents. Crow was one. We will get to H-bar, I promise. I gave you guys this one, I think last week. We talked about Crow and I said, this is your potential SFP. Set your alert here. What did you do? SFP the low. You've come all the way back up and back tested the bi-weekly level that was given before. Really, really nice trading. Again, if you paid attention to those streams and you took that trade, 21%, pay yourselves. Make sure that you are taking stuff from this market on a regular basis. That's how you accumulate assets. That's how you compound your winnings, right? You have to pay yourself. If you can't do that, you probably shouldn't be trading. H-bar, before we get too far away. The only reason I'm looking for this chart is because one, it's already got stuff on it, and two, it's got the exchange with the best history, because I make sure to build these on the exchanges with I find the best history. So maybe, good Lord, I had to get rid of some of these. We'll go through and get rid of these. I may just have to pull up a blank H-bar chart, which I don't like doing. Does anybody know what exchange has? There it is, Binance. I only got one thing on this chart. That's funny. Yeah, not much on here that I've looked at in quite some time. I haven't looked at this since 2021, guys. And I'm pretty sure I gave a low of like 9 cents, maybe even lower on H-bar. So that's down there. If I was just looking at this from like a 3-month perspective, let's see if there's any market structure here. Yeah, I mean, low targets on H-bar, if I was interested in actually buying, is going to be right here, 3.18 cents. If it goes any lower than that, you know, if you're looking at from a quarterly basis, I would say 1 penny could actually be hit. So I would say if I was interested in this asset, it came pretty close to 3.18 cents already, down to 4.24. You know, you're off by a penny there. This would be the area I'm interested in. Let's see if there's anything else telling me to get in beforehand besides this back test of the high. So you can look at this as an overall range here. So we'll just scoot this on over so you can see what I'm talking about. Range, right? You come up to it, now it's range, up it goes. So you are back testing demand. So I would say anywhere from 4.5 to 3.18 cents is a good area to look for H-bar. Nothing changes for me unless it's back above 7.56 cents, just based on structure here. And then that is still going to, you know, it's got a lot of room to move up, but, you know, you got to ask yourself what kind of rally you're getting. You got to take other market dynamics into it. I
can take a peek. What did you say for your levels for H-bar real quick? I'm just curious.
3.18 and 0.012, but realistically, I think 4.57 down to 3.18 is probably the area of interest for at least locally if you're looking to take some trades. But also not a bad place to start looking for positions on it. I own 0 H-bar, so maybe I'll start buying H-bar in this box. Maybe not.
Neil Diamond. When Neil Diamond and I align, it's always a nice time. Yeah, so right below us is basically a yearly key level. So a year's worth of average high time frame of price right here, basically where we kind of turned around that front rate a little bit. There's an untapped monthly down exactly where Magic was just looking at too, at basically 3.18 cents. And then one thing about that monthly level, if you kind of zoom it out here, and once again, I mean, this isn't, you know, necessarily the best and the only thing to be looking at by any means, but it's just something else to add a little confluence. You know, throwing that global range on there, right? Just seeing where all the price actions. This is a pretty relatively new asset. I say that, I guess, been around for a few years, but you can see how that monthly level comes in right at the point of control, basically, of all of H-bar's price action. So, yeah, that 3.18 cents would definitely be the move here, right? If we get it. And I mean, that's a pretty another 40% down. So, I mean, you're talking like, you know, if we're hitting any of the devil's basement targets for, you know, the market as a whole, another leg down, you know, in complete meltdown mode, that would be the one. Otherwise, though, just very similar to where we were looking at with Solana, right? These high time frame, you know, levels on the charts. The quarterly for Solana that you just got a nice bounce from. You got a nice bounce from a yearly level here, right? So it's just the price action returning to the average. So lose that though, and then this would be this is the trigger right here, right? Get the back test of essentially 4.2 cents. Yeah, we're, you know, going down to 3.18 for sure. And I say for sure, but higher probability. But yeah, and then aside from that, same thing with Magic, right? You got a lot of upside. Get back above. I think he said 7 cents, which is probably a better area to look for. But as far as you know, early good signs or early shots fired, you know, get back in this overall range, we're looking at about 6 cents, and then you'd be, you know, looking at. We still got a ton of you know, left areas up here that are, you know, just kind of waiting to be come up and smacked if we get the opportunity. But all right, didn't say H-bar. Man, as soon as we see your name, we just want to cover H-bar. So. And honestly, I still think, you know, like if we obviously lost the low here, which is what you want to look for. We were looking at this as a risk the other day, right? This was an area to put on some risk, but you had a nice clear invalidation. You lose these lows or you lose the range low, you cut out, and that would have saved you from 25, 26% drawdown here. So, and then realistically, diddling in the middle at the moment, right? If you're not in positions or if you're not in whatever, and you really want to wait for one of these two, right? You come back in, you reclaim that 6 cents, or you come back down, or you come down and you basically come up and back test that 4.2. And then that's going to give you the triggers for the next moves up or down, right? So if you weren't catching this area here or whatnot. So that's the idea at hand. So we'll see how everything plays out. I think Max had to go walk his wiener.
He had to walk his dog, yeah. But one thing I'll point out, guys, is that if you're all here and you all still have capital, you guys have now out-traded the top trading firms in the entire world in crypto. They're all liquidated almost. So there's some speculation that Citadel's opening an exchange in the next year. And I think that if they do, they're the next Alameda FTX. I obviously don't think they're going to do what they did, but yeah. He goes, damn, really? Damn, really to what? To out trading the top crypto trading firms? Dude, turns out they were all just degenerately leveraged and moving money around. And yeah. So it's all about perspective, man.
It's all about the moon phases, to be honest. I mean, like we could really just throw all these charts out the window and just, sell on the dump moons and buy on the pump moons. Here's to the 20th, right? Thanksgiving week.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We're coming into November still. So it's No Shave November. So if you guys are in the group, or if you're not in the group, join the group. There is a free section as well. We do interact with the general public. You guys have access to the pet pics, the memes, to talk to members, talk to other people that are in the group. If you're doing No Shave November, I want to see your facial hair here at the 2-week mark. Let's see what everyone's doing with the beard. We were just talking to Max about it, so he'll share his lovely mustache.
Ladies are invited too. We don't discriminate.
I'm gonna look pretty homeless by the end of November. So
I can't wait. Then you gotta spray paint it white and be Santa for all of December's videos.
I'm gonna have to gain some weight, but you know what? Thanksgiving's around the corner. I could probably make that work. Getting a decent buy up here off of this. Now the OA is coming off. Never mind. I was looking at volume here. Coming back up to 17,567 on the back test. Okay. All right, guys. Local levels are outlined on Bitcoin. They bleed into the high time frames. Don't do anything crazy. If you're a trader and you've got good risk management, we're just trying to set you up for success throughout the day, give you the areas and triggers for shorts and longs. And you still have to make those trades yourself. That's the hardest part. Is everybody wants a signals group, and I don't think that's realistic because it's a very in the moment thing, and you don't know their personal risk because everyone's going to be wrong. Everyone's going to have a percentage of trades that they lose. So if you guys are watching this, make sure that you're taking time to sit down with yourself, allocating proper funding and risk management, and then that you have the time to do this. People make time for things they want to do. And if you're not making time to do the basics alone, you probably shouldn't be participating. But it doesn't hurt to watch though, and keep up if it interests you. And then maybe one day you can, hop on board and decide you want to start taking those trades as well. That's all I'll say about that.
Heard that. Yeah. Also, just have a great rest of your afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are in this beautiful world. As Magic said, we got the, what's up?
Debate Crypto tonight, Thursday, guys. They give us so many shout outs, and I should have mentioned this earlier in the stream, so that's my apologies. They're in the chat, so if you don't know what Debate Crypto is, go to their profile. They have one of the best shows in crypto in terms of like overall guests. I'll be on there with other TA people tonight, and go show them some love, and you'll get to see my face again today. So I think, CBO, are you going to do Mondays with them, or what are you doing there?
Yeah, in December I'll be doing Mondays, right. And then you'll be doing the Thursdays. And I just want to know, is the Dazzle shirt, is the Neil Diamond shirt making its appearance tonight?
Probably. I'll probably shower before the stream, cut my hair because it's kind of long for me. There's not much of it left, but I like to keep it pretty short. Kind of hides that. But
oh goodness.
Yeah. So I'll look nice and fresh for you guys tonight. I'll turn on the Bitcoin piggy bank.
Can't wait to see it. Yeah, as always, Debate Crypto. I see you in the chat there. Yeah, definitely go give their channel a like. Magic does go on there every Thursday. I'll be going on there every Monday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And aside from that, if you're interested in joining the Leading Crypto Discord server, the information is in our information box below. We do get a ton of in-the-moment analysis as we go out throughout the day. You get access to all of our analysis as well. Members only market updates, things of that nature. So otherwise, we'll see everybody back here on YouTube, 10 a.m. Eastern, every Monday through Friday. So we'll see you tomorrow before the weekly roundup. Have a great afternoon.